Okay, so keep the party moving. So without further ado, we're going to bring to you, to the stage, the Academy Award winner, Mr. Spike Lee, and his guest, John David Washington, and the author, Mr. Ron Stallworth. Please come out, guys. Oh, are they there? Are they there? Oh, where'd they go? He ran off. All right, well, okay. Let's try it again. Is Brooklyn in the house? All right, bringing to you the stage, the Academy Award winner, Mr. Spike Lee, to the stage. The author, Mr. Ron Stallworth, to the stage. Give him a round of applause, guys. And the handsome and debonair Mr. John David Washington.
Hey. How's everybody doing?
Yeah.
All right, here we are. Martha's Vineyard. Summertime Black Oasis. All right, we're here. We're not showing the film tonight, so. But you can see it Friday night at the Strand in OB. Who thought they were seeing a film tonight? They lied. So, to my immediate right, Mr. Ron Stallworth. Get up for Ron Stallworth, please. And to his right, the man that plays him to his left, John David Washington. And I might note, he's a Morehouse man. John. Where's the house at? Where we at? This is all a true story. The phone rang. It was Jordan Peele. And he said, oh, get out. Give it out for Jordan. Come on. Give it up for the brother. Called me up out of the blue and said, I want to ask something. I want to pitch it to you. You know, see if you want to do it. I said, okay. And it's really 6 words. Black man infiltrates KKK. At first I thought automatically the famous David Chappelle skit. And he said, nah, that was fake. This is real. And this is the man right here. Give it up. So while you set it up,
I'm sitting in my office as an intelligence detective. My job was to monitor subversive activity in my city. And we were
Colorado Springs, right? Colorado Springs.
Colorado Springs Police Department. And we routinely read
Whoa, can I just say something? Mm-hmm. How could you leave out you're the first African-American police officer in Colorado Springs? That's important. That's too important to leave out.
Not quite. I was actually the first black detective in Colorado. See what I have to go through? David Duke was easier than these guys. Oh.
We'll talk about him when the night's out.
I was reading the newspaper, which we did routinely in that job, to see what was in there that might impact the city. And I saw this ad. It said Ku Klux Klan for information. Then there was a P.O. box.
It's all true.
So I said, what the heck? I wrote a note. I said, I am a proud, pure, Aryan white man who hates, and I'm just going to say the N-word, who hates the N-word, Spics, Chinks, Jews, Japs, anybody who isn't pure Aryan white like me. And I want to do something to help the race. And then I did something that I shouldn't have done, but had a brain cramp. I signed my real name to it. It actually worked out for the better. And I sealed it, mailed it off, forgot about it. I thought I was going to get a pamphlet, a brochure, something like that. About a week or two later, the phone rings in my office, because I did put the phone number in this letter. We had an untraceable phone line back in those days, and I put that line in there. And the phone rings. The voice on the other end says, may I speak to Ron Stallworth? And I'm saying, okay, who's calling me on this line? And then I said, I'm Ron Stallworth. He says, this is Ken Odell. I'm the local organizer for the Colorado Springs chapter of the Ku Klux Klan. I got your note. And I said, oh, hell. He said, you have some pretty interesting ideas I'd like to talk about. Why do you want to join the Klan? So I'm sitting there thinking, where do I go from here? Now, being a black man in America, growing up in the 60s, I understand what the language of hate is as directed to us as a people. And so I figured I'd flip the script on him and fire it right back. So I repeated what I said in the note, and then I spiced it up a little bit. I said, my sister is dating a N-word, and every time he puts his filthy black hands on her pure white body, it makes me cringe. I want to do something to stop the abuse of the white race like that. His response was, you're just the kind of guy we want.
It's all true.
Buy the book, read it. He said that, and he said, when can we meet? So at that point, my investigation was really launched, because I had to respond to this in some way, and obviously I couldn't meet him. So I couldn't.
Why not?
Because God blessed me with this beautiful skill.
Uh-oh.
So I immediately launched this plan. I told him I couldn't meet him for another week, and I described it. He said, what do you look like? I described myself, except my description matched that of a white officer in the narcotics division by the name of Chuck, not his real name. And I said, this is what I look like. I knew how Chuck came to work dressed. I said, this is how I'll be dressed. And we hung up with the understanding I'd see him in a week. I then went to the narcotics office to get Chuck to help, and his lieutenant said no, I could not use him. Long story behind why that happened, but he said no. And when I asked the lieutenant why, he said, because they will know when Chuck walks in the door that he is not the same person that they talk to on the phone, because the person on the phone sounds like a black man. My response was, what does a black man sound like? The response I got from the lieutenant was a blank stare. And he still insisted he wasn't going to waste one of his good undercovers on this investigation and basically shoot me away. So I did what could have been a career-ending move on my part. The police departments are paramilitary organizations. We have a rank structure. I bypassed 3 of those ranks and went right up to the chief of police. I understood the threat of what the Klan represented. Any of us would have understood that threat and do understand it. And I was not going to let this lieutenant shoo me away as if I was nothing when I knew something was happening in my city. So I skipped my lieutenant, the captain, and the assistant chief and went directly to the chief and told him what the lieutenant said. I told him what I had done, what the lieutenant said. The chief said, "What do you need?" I told him I needed Chuck and maybe and 2 additional officers to help me on surveillance. He picked up the phone, he called the lieutenant, he said, "Give him all the resources he needs," and we were off and running.
So we have some clips. You're gonna see some of the film. And this clip, I think, dovetails on what you said, because when I met Ron for the first time, my first question was, how did the Klan not know that it's not the same person speaking? And thinking like the audience, I wrote this scene where we tried to address that, because if I thought, I knew the audience might think it too. Let's play that. That is clip number 5. Let's take the lights out, play it, please, thank you. That's Mike Buscemi and the great Adam Driver. Now I come to my man, John David. As I tell him all the time, I knew him before he was born. If you go to IMDb, his first film is Malcolm X. How are you?
6.
I'm gonna recreate his scene from Malcolm X. My name is Malcolm X.
There's a line change. It's like, "I'm Malcolm X." That's what he says.
Oh, all right. It's a long time ago. But I would like, John, serious business. We all know that who your father is. And can you tell us how you took this route to where you are? Please.
How did I start acting? What, the route to acting?
No, football.
Right. So, I was a ball player, a football player, and I used it as a source of independence. It was like my mission to have my own name. So I chose football. I wanted to act my whole life, but after Malcolm X, our life started to change a little bit. And the way people treated me, treated my family, I started to develop this anxiety and resentment because of I couldn't tell what was real, what was fake. So I just started playing ball, and in my success, I started realizing getting credit for me being me, myself, and what I earned on the field. And I just started getting more success. I earned a scholarship to Morehouse College. Then I got undrafted to the St. Louis Rams. And thank you.
Did you leave out where you played football at?
Morehouse College? Yeah. I mean, we didn't win a lot, so I just kind of, I know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of, so, but what was happening?
We don't put out football players, Martin Luther King, Samuel Jackson, people like that.
Right.
Edwin Moses.
Right, yeah, but they gave him a stadium, so, but what was happening was, even when I got drafted to the Rams, it's Denzel's son gets drafted to the Rams. Every great game I had a 242-yard game and touchdown. It was the school record. Denzel Washington's son runs for it. He might as well have ran the yard. So what was happening was I can't escape it. So fast forward through the NFL, UFL experience, played in Europe. I got injured. I tore my Achilles, which basically took me out. But that was God saying, this is what you're supposed to do. And I end up auditioning for a show about football players.
Ballers, give it up, HBO. Was it August 16th?
It comes out it'll be that Sunday of the movie. So,
Ball, let's
so
check
go
it
see
out.
Blackkklansmen
HBO.
Friday. So I ended up booking it 10 auditions later, and I've been rocking and rolling ever since.
Can you share with us how you and I on this?
So,
For the audience.
so Spike Lee, he has his own way of doing things, his own process. I'm shooting a film, and I'm in Cincinnati, staying in Cincinnati shooting a film, and I get a text from Spike like, Spike, call me. So, I don't really hear from Spike like that, like ever. So, for sure, I'm gonna see what it is. Spike, what's up? Where are you? I'm in Cincinnati. I'm on location. All right, there's a story. He starts whispering. It's a story. Black cop, Colorado Springs, Ku Klux Klan. I'm seeing your book. Where are you staying? I'm like, I'm in Cincinnati, Spike. I'm in Cincinnati. All right, click. Yeah, right. I get the book. I read it. I couldn't believe this happened. I call him back like through the roof. Like, this is crazy. This is amazing. This is real. This is a true story. Like, yeah. I was like, man, this is amazing. Unbelievable. All right, see you this summer. Bet. Click. That's how I got the job.
I believed in this young brother. He didn't have to audition. He didn't have to read. Didn't have to meet. I knew he could do it, and the proof, you'd see it this Friday, because he tore that shit up, excuse my language. I'm trying not to, that's gonna be it, I promise, but what he did in this film is amazing. And John doesn't talk about that much, but when you have a famous father, and I know that because Martin Luther King III was my classmate in Morehouse. My father was a freshman when his father was a senior in Morehouse. And even then, it was tough. Martin Luther King III. So when especially when you're the namesake, that is, it's not easy. And to achieve he's just beginning. So we're gonna see a lot more of my brother right here. Give it up for John David Washington doing a great film.
Thank you, Spike.
All true.
If I may add, I couldn't be more proud of the fact that this young man has played me in this film.
We're gonna go to the clip with Adam Driver, who plays the white Ron Stallworth. And Adam did his thing, and let's watch it. Clip number 1. Whoa, hold up. Yeah, that's it. Go ahead, good. That's it. Just turn it.
Man.
Anyway, that scene, I don't know what Anyway, you talk about you and Adam working together, playing the black and white Ron Stallworth, please.
Well, Adam, he's a phenomenal actor, and we wanted to be as truthful as we could. We didn't want to play into any kind of caricature or comedy routine, buddy cop thing. We wanted to be authentic. And so as our chemistry was developing, I felt like it was translating on screen, like the same way. So it was like parallel time and how we were developing our chemistry. And just going through this journey with him was incredible, and being able to tell this story. I mean, there's no line. Like if there was a take that I was false, he's the way he looks at you, like, all right, let's just do it again, because he's that intense. Adam is, and we were able to just play off of one another. I mean, we had complete trust, and that's because of this man right here setting the environment to where we felt so comfortable to try things and to just be as free flowing as possible. And I think it benefited the film to see that authenticity and the teamwork that it took to take the 8 down the way we did.
All right, we got a clip for that. Hopefully it's longer. Number 4, sir. Turn it up.
I didn't want to say we're trapped, but that pecker would have had a gun in my face.
We have a scene. David Duke, played by Topher Grace. Topher, I mean, he was amazing. And can you share with us the phone call you got yesterday?
I'm sitting in my room at the hotel, and let me find it here.
Oh, shit.
This is wild. Yeah.
We can wait. There's some good stuff right here. Well, while my brother's looking for it, he got a call from David Duke yesterday. They want to hear it.
Yeah, they do now. Yeah, they got
David Duke called him out of the thin blue air. And you said you guys hadn't spoken in 40 years, huh?
That's right.
40 years? Uh-oh. Is it, right?
This isn't it, but this is another call he made. I haven't even heard this one.
Yeah.
This isn't it, but this is another call he made. Let me see if this will play.
Hey, Ron, it's David Duke. I just wanted to let you know that I didn't play any of the conversation, but I said 2 or 3 times on the show to go ahead and read your book before they go see the movie, and take a look and you can judge for yourself how the movie is. But so I'm not trying to get you in problem with the movie people. That's not your fault. I mean, you cooperate with them in every way, but. I just wanted to let you know that I did that, and I told you I was going to do that, and I'm true to my word. And so I urged people a couple times, home people, to buy your book and to read it. So anyway, just wanted to let you know that. You can also hear the show if you want to at davidduke.com. There'll be an archive copy available in a few minutes. All right? You take care. Bye.
That is the Grand Wizard, or the former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan.
Can you tell us a story about the phone call yesterday? Not that one, yesterday.
I'm sitting in my hotel room.
Oh, to the mic, to the mic. Yeah.
I'm new to this, folks. I'm just a retired cop. I'm sitting in my hotel room, and out of the clear blue, my phone rings.
This is yesterday, right?
This was yesterday. And the caller says, Ron, this is David Duke. And I looked at my wife, and she looked at me, and we both got big-eyed, and I told her to turn her phone on to record, and we started a conversation. Lasted an hour. Hadn't heard from David Duke since April of '79 when I made my last call to him. I was this surprised to get it. And we talked about everything. He said he liked Spike Lee.
The kiss of death. That's not the endorsement you want from a hate monger. That ain't what you want.
He said he liked Spike. He had seen the trailer. And to be honest with you, he was very concerned about how he's going to be portrayed in the movie.
He should thought about that a long time ago, but there was a movie.
He told me, he complimented me, as you just heard, about my book, said he had read it, had just finished it, in fact, and had liked it. He thought I was being truthful with my story, and he wanted me to know that he did respect me and that he liked the book, and told me he was going to tell his people, to read it. And at that point, I told him, I said, well, they should read it, but they also should go see the movie. And he said he would do that, too. So that's what this call was about right here. This call occurred while we were on the airplane flying here, and I didn't call him back or anything. But during that phone call, we talked about a whole range of issues. He insisted he wasn't a racist or a white supremacist. And with that, I pointed out that he had endorsed Donald Trump and that Trump is a racist. He did not agree with me, and I pointed out that Trump, as an example of Trump's racism, he wants to secure the Mexican border and stop. He has separated all these thousands of kids from their families for no other reason than trying to find freedom in this country. And he didn't agree with me on that issue either. And whenever he didn't agree with me on anything, he pivoted to something else. I told him that Trump had stated he wanted to get more people from Sweden and Norway because they contributed to white culture, and he agreed with that statement. He agreed with that statement. He said, Mexican migrants don't contribute to white culture, and I told him, there is no such thing, David, as a pure white Aryan culture or heritage. Needless to say, he didn't agree with me and he pivoted. That, ladies and gentlemen, is just a sample of what the conversation yesterday was about. Like I said, it was an hour. He was most concerned about his image as portrayed in Spike's movie based on the trailer that he saw, okay? And I think Spike's going to show you one in a minute to give you an idea. David Duke, as I say in my book, and please go buy the book, read it before you see the movie. You'll have a greater appreciation for the movie if you do. But as I say in my book, he was a very pleasant conversationalist. You wouldn't know if I didn't tell you this was David Duke, you would probably not feel anything untoward regarding him. But David Duke is like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. When the subject of race comes up, David Duke became Dr. Jekyll, and Dr. Jekyll, rather, turned into Mr. Hyde, and that was when the monster in him was unleashed. And that was the David Duke that I dealt with 40 years ago, having phone calls, pretending to be a white supremacist. You know, we talked an awful lot. David claimed he never used the N-word, and I reminded him, yeah, you did. You and I threw it back and forth all the time.
These nerves.
His response to that was, well, you know, when people talk to each other, they talk in a way that they're familiar with, and he said, and besides, black rappers say the N-word all the time. True. And we kept on that subject for a while, and then he pivoted. He kept pivoting. Whenever I pinpoint him, close in on him on something, he would pivot to something else. At one point, I told him, David, I know you're recording this and you plan on using it on your podcast. He said, well, yeah. And I said, just make sure you splice it right. I said, because I will be listening. And he said, okay. And then he asked me to come on his show. And I said, yeah, I'll think about it. This, ladies and gentlemen, was the man 40 years ago who was the dominant figure in the white supremacy movement in America. Right now, in my opinion, he's a caricature of himself. He really is kind of a joke, but he is still a deadly, dangerous threat. Okay? You cannot sleep on people like this. You should not sleep on people like this.
Come on now.
He is a racist through and through. No matter what he says or what he claims to not be, he is a racist, he is a white supremacist, he endorses a white supremacy ideology, he endorses Donald Trump, who practically everything he said is devoted towards promoting the idea of white nationalism and white supremacy. I did point out to David that he advocated that blacks should have a separate homeland in America, that homeland being the Pacific Northwest. It's
cold up there.
This is true. This is true. That's part of their ideology. His response to that was, well, Malcolm X and Louis Farrakhan advocated black separatism. I said, yes, they did. I said, but if you recall, Malcolm evolved in his thinking, and Malcolm eventually evolved to the point where he welcomed the humanity of all men. I said, you don't. And he pivoted. Okay? This was the gist of our conversation. The hour, what I thought was an hour of recorded voice with him, turned out to only be 11 minutes. The phone ran out of power. And that 11 minutes, if you had told me that, I would have tried to find it. That 11 minutes is valuable because in it, he acknowledges that all the events in this film took place, that he did have his encounter with me. And I say that because it's important. About a month or so ago, he tweeted that I was a liar. You know, and whenever I hear stories about David Duke calling me a liar, all I have to say is, in my wallet, I carry the membership card that you signed and you gave to me.
You got it on you?
I do.
Can we pull it out?
It's a trip. It's a trip. Yo.
I've carried this card since I received it in January of '79. I keep it in my wallet for two reasons. One, it is a memento of my career. The other reason is if I'm ever in a fatal car crash, some poor cop's going to come upon my mangled black body, find it.
I'm going to read this. 1865 to 1979, Ron Stallworth, number CO 78862, member in good standing for the year 1978, Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. A black man. I tell you stuff is true. We're going to show the clip with the magnificent performance by Topher Grace playing David Duke. Get volume, please.
Can I say something, Spike? Ladies and gentlemen, those words that Topher spoke, first of all, there are points in this scene, in this film, where his voice is almost identical to the voice that you heard, that David Duke's voice. He was that good in his portrayal. And secondly, there are points in this movie where, looking at him, he looks exactly like the David Duke that I dealt with 40 years ago. They did a masterful job in bringing him to life. But I want you to recognize that the words you heard him speak are the actual words of the Klan nationalization ceremony that he was speaking. One of the things that David spoke to me about yesterday was the fact that I had in my book printed the actual ceremony. When my guys, I got 2 cops undercover in the group, and I told them to gather anything that you could about the Klan. So when David wasn't looking, they grabbed the form that he used to swear my guys into the Klan and officially induct them. They call it nationalization. And this form, the Klan considered, David Duke considered, sacred. Several times yesterday, he said he objected to the fact that I printed the sacred Klan nationalization ceremony, okay? He did not like it, and then he pivoted.
John, can you tell us some of the stuff you had to work on, just playing this man
Yeah.
right next to you?
Well, it was, my way in was the music. I didn't listen to any rap, hip hop or R&B for like 3 months. I built this extensive playlist that included War and Jimi Hendrix, Marvin Gaye, Shy Lights, just really good, really great music, that really invited me into the world. I mean, there's a documentary I got to see called Black Panther Mixtape. That was incredible. Some of y'all know that one. And I'll talk to my uncles, my mother, just different people, black men in those times and what it felt like, even before I met Mr. Stallworth. And just seeing how much, like, coming off of Vietnam, the killing of Martin Luther King, JFK, it seemed like, people were just fed up. They just want to express themselves. You saw it through the clothes, through the music, the hair. All of that invited me in and informed me on what it was like to be in that time. And then I got to meet him, and as we got to talk and got to know each other, it just became clearer and clearer in the mission that he was on, and the mission that I became, that I was on. And that card y'all saw was sort of like the portal to his soul, and he let me borrow his soul for a couple months to play this guy, to play him in this film, because I didn't want to imitate or emulate. I just wanted to inhabit his spirit and represent everything that this man's a hero, an American hero. He really is. He really is.
Thank you.
One of the things that my co-writer, Kevin Wilmot, wanted to do with this film, we wanted to make it contemporary. Even though this film takes place in the 70s, we still wanted people to not just look at this as a history lesson, something happened in the past. We wanted to connect it today. I think that's one of the most important one of the most important aspects of this film. This film is about today. And some of you might not know the end, but since the film played in Cannes, people know about the end of the movie. And it happened here in Martha's Vineyard this coming weekend a year ago. I've had a summer house here for 20-something years, and it's because of my Morehouse brother, John Wilson. John Wilson, you stand up, please. John is another brother, illustrious class of 1979. And I forgot what summer, John, you can yell it out, but he said, my grandmother has a house in Oak Bluffs in Massachusetts. I said, where's that? It's an island off Massachusetts. Was it 4th of July? Yeah, 78. 4th of July. I came up here, I fell in love with Martha's Vineyard. And at that time, the summer before is when I decided I want to be a filmmaker. So I came up here, I said, Lord, if I ever get any money, I want to buy a brownstone in the People's Republic of Brooklyn, New York. I want to get season tickets to the New York Knicks. And I want to buy a motherfucking house in Martha's Vineyard. And the Lord has been good. But that's not the point. So a year ago, August 12th, August 11th, as what, David Chappelle talked about, those tiki torch motherfuckers. So the march was Friday night, was the 11th. I didn't see that. I didn't see that till the next day, coupled with the murder of Heather Heyer. Another example of homegrown red, white, and blue apple pie American terrorism. So my house is on the 18th hole. Yeah. And as usual, Obama's here. And I can always tell he's on the course because I see these guys in black ninja suits hiding in the trees. And this is all true. So I'm watching CNN. I'm seeing David Duke. I'm seeing Agent Orange. That the President of the United States has a chance to renounce hate, renounce the Klan, alt-right, neo-Nazis, and he says, anyway. I watched again and again. So I said, I can't watch anymore. So I went outside. I saw Obama was coming. 18th hole, getting ready to tee off. And so when you play golf, you turn your phone off. It was 4 hours, you got a lot. Even when he wasn't president, but still, people come to Martha's Vineyard to relax. It's vacation. So I was the one that told him about Charlottesville. He didn't know it. I could see it on his face. But before I came outside, I knew we weren't starting to shoot till September. But August 12th, when I saw that stuff on CNN, I said, that's the end of the movie. So I don't care if it's a spoiler. It's been written about, and you might probably read about it, but we show, what happened in Charlottesville. And I knew I wanted that for an ending, but first I wanted to get permission, the blessing of Susan Bro. She's the mother of Heather Heyer, who was murdered. Terrorist act. Nothing but, again, red, white, we get, don't go for okie doke like it's all Islamic, ISIS, all this other stuff. We kill ourselves more than anybody else. Thanks to NRA and other people. But I had to get her blessing, and she gave it to me, and then we went ahead and put it at the end of the film. But for me, this was a historic moment where the President of the United States, the supposed President of the United States, can say to the world that this supposed cradle of democracy stands for justice, was right, and he couldn't do it. And the thing about him, believe what he says the first time. What he says the first time is what's in his heart. Don't believe that bullshit he said 3 days later about Charlottesville. Nah, son. What came out of his mouth at that day, that Trump Tower, that was in his heart. So we live in a very, very dangerous time, and for anybody, if you're not motivated to register to vote out these last 18 months, I don't know what's it going to take. These midterm are coming up, and after that, presidential election, and we just gotta be unified, and come together and turn this thing around, because it's crazy. It's absolute insane. So we got another Oh, we got our last clip for the night. And I know you have only brothers up here, but we have Lauren Harris. She does a great performance as the president of the Black Student Union at Colorado State College, and she based her character on characters written based upon Angela Davis and Kathleen Cleaver. In fact, we flew Kathleen Cleaver up to speak to us before began. She's a law professor at Emory University in Atlanta. So we had a whole lot of people who were in the movement, not necessarily famous, but they were really giving us the knowledge and the wisdom. So we go ahead and make this film. So this is a scene. Yeah, it's gonna explain itself. Final scene. Play it, please.
You can hate me all you want, all right?
Can't show you the whole movie. Just giving you a taste. Can you talk about that scene?
Yeah, that, well, not really, because
I mean, as much as you can.
As much as I can, I mean,
Just the whole relationship between yourself
without
and
giving it away.
Well, giving out the goods.
I mean, here's this woman. Okay, let me see if I can do this. Okay, here's this woman that was just front lines of the resistance, you know, and she was very passionate about what she believed in, you know, and talking about changing things, you know, changing the system. Ron feels that you can do it from the inside. Like you can use law enforcement. He can be on the other side of the law and still be for the liberation of his people. So you're seeing the chemistry develop, and the relationship kind of turn, and that is like a pivotal moment of when it turns. That's all I can.
So let me ask you this, because really, I mean, there's a scene later on where we talked about, her character talks about double consciousness and Dubois, and I think we go with that as people. What about black cops, that double consciousness? Can you talk about that? Where you're a cop and you're black.
What a lot of people don't realize, and I'm not making an excuse for my brother officers, good officers. I'm not making an excuse for the bad cops. There is no excuse for them. They're scum. They need to be gotten rid of. But police in general go in with a purpose to do good, to try to do good. I did. But I quickly found out that I got caught up in a duality that was beyond my control, and that was simply, I was a black man in a uniform with a badge and a gun enforcing the law of what people like Laura Harrier's character believed was the white man's justice. And I was enforcing that law on occasion against my fellow black brothers. Enforcement of the law should be equal. And it shouldn't matter whether you're white or black. If you're breaking it, you should be dealt with. But what we as cops, black cops, find ourselves in is a world where it's kind of like a phantom zone. We're too black for the white community, and we're too blue for the black community.
That duality.
I understand the existence of that. And that's the world that I lived in during the time that I was a police officer in the 70s in Colorado Springs. I knew people like Laura Harrier's character. I dealt with black brothers who called me pig for no other reason than I had a uniform and a badge, okay? I remember trying to recruit blacks into the police department. It's an honorable profession if you treat it right. And you live to survive for 20 years like I did, you get a nice pension, and you can come hang out with Spike Lee.
I don't know if that's a recruiting pitch, but...
But I talk to brothers like that, trying to get them to join and to make a difference from within. You have to fight these battles wherever you find them. My battle was within the police department. And thank you. You have to fight these battles from within sometimes, and I tried to recruit brothers into the department, and I can distinctly remember a couple of them who looked at me and said, man, I don't want to be no pig. And I said, why? He said, because then I'd have to arrest my own people. I said, are your people doing wrong? He said, that's not the point. They're my people. So in other words, if you're a black man, black woman, and you're breaking the law, no matter what the law is, you're breaking it, it's okay. Because you're black, you should be left alone. That was the attitude back then. And that was an attitude I could not abide. So I was proud of my blackness as a man, because when all things are over and done with, I would have to take that uniform off, that badge off, put that gun up, and I'm just another black man in America. Okay?
Let me ask you this. There's a scene. You're a detective, and you're asked to go undercover.
I was a patrolman.
And you're asked to go undercover to hear the late, great Kwame Ture speak. How did you feel about that?
I was honored. You got to remember, I grew up in the 60s. I remember watching Stokely Kwame. I remember watching him on TV.
I know, but I'm talking about you being sent as undercover.
I had no qualms about doing that. Mm-hmm. My job was, on this occasion, and you'll see it depicted in the film, my job was to monitor Kwame's speech. My department felt threatened by the fact that this militant black, former Black Panther was coming into town. Colorado Springs at that time had only 2 black nightclubs, and he was coming to one where people were going to be gathering, black folk, our so-called good citizens and the so-called ghetto celebrities. And Kwame was going to be talking to them, giving one of his fiery speeches. They wanted me to monitor the speech because I would be among my own. The white officers who were undercover cops did not feel comfortable going into a sea of black. So they needed a black presence. And they knew that I wanted to work undercover, so they came and asked me, will you do it? I said, yeah. So I went undercover into the bar. I sum it all up, I listened to his talk. He gave a typical speech that he gave during that time about arming the masses, fighting the white man's injustice. We have to be prepared for the revolution and make it happen. And ultimately, we have to be prepared to take up arms and kill Whitey if necessary. And I remember when he finished, or as he was giving his speech, I'm standing there listening along with everybody else. And at certain points, they would give him positive affirmation of, right on, brother, or black power. So I'm an undercover cop, and I'm listening to this, and I'm thinking, right on, brother, black power. And then the duality again. At that moment, I was not a black cop, I was a black man. And I was in tune to what he was saying. I believed it. And then it dawned on me real quickly, you better stop this because you're a cop. You're supposed to be working this man, not being a part of his movement. And I had to get back out of my black skin as a black man and back into my blue uniform, so to speak, as a cop. That was the world that I lived in back then, and I'm sure it still exists to this day.
I would like to bring, we got a very special treat we're going to play for you, and I want to bring up my brother, Troy Carter. Troy, where you at? Yeah? Come on, come upstage, give it up. That's my brother right here. He hooked me up. And I want you to tell the story. I want you to tell the story of the song. My brother here works at Spotify. He's also part of the Prince estate.
Well, Spike's my brother from another mother. Called me up to New York and said he wanted me to see the movie. And I flew into New York, into the screening room. There's probably, 10 of us in the room? And, but there's no music. It was like a very rough cut of the movie. And it got to that last scene of Charlottesville. And I told Spike, I said, Spike, I got a song for you, man. And 2 weeks before, I represent Prince's estate. And Prince had this crazy archive of just... How many cassettes? You can't even count them, but one day, 8,000 cassettes show up of Prince's demos. And on one cassette, we found Prince at a piano. He had come in 1981 into his recording studio, and he had played 9 songs at a piano, and one of the songs was Mary, Don't You Weep. And the moment I saw the Charlottesville scene, I said, Spike, I got the song for you, man. And I took out my headphones. They were in my backpack. I took out my phone, and I played the phone for Spike. And we went to dinner right after, and we looked crazy in a restaurant with headphones on. But right away, it was almost as if Prince was speaking to us. And, out of 8,000 cassettes, you find this one tape. And then the song was just perfect for the movie, perfect for the moment. And I know Prince loved you just as much as I love you, so I'm glad it made it into the film. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. And I want to thank my brother here, and I want to thank our brother Prince. As Troy said, 8,000 cassettes popped up. It was not a mistake. He wanted us to have this song. And it is crucial because we needed a song, this for the end credits, but we needed something, after you see that, I know I'm giving it away, but the way we cut it, that Charlottesville stuff at the end, people, even in the first time, people were deadly silent.
Play him the song.
Can we play the song, please? Prince singing Old Negro Spiritual, Mary Don't You Weep. Ron Stallworth, John David Washington. You can see Blackkklansmen Friday at the Strand Theater. Support Nation Time, Nation Time. Check the film out. Thank you very much. Get home safe. Get home safe.